So what were you saying?
What I was saying,
Yeah.
I asked the question:
Mm-hmm.
who do you think it's more
Colonized.
colonized?
Yeah.
You or me?
And you suggested that you're probably more colonized than me.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. What do you mean when you say colonized? What does that mean for you?
That there is a hierarchy, or it's a hegemonia. How can I say hegemonia?
Hegemony?
Yeah, hegemony. In your mind, where you are on the bottom, and there are people, ideas, behaviors that are superior, that are better, that you look up to, and the goal is to become there. You know.
Wow.
In religion, is that a sufficient way of being? Then, since you are a little girl, you are taught that you are a sinner, that you came with the original sin, and then you need to, especially in Catholicism, that you need like to hit your chest and say like, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's my fault, it's all my fault. And that's one way that the religion has played part in my colonized mind.
Yeah.
But there are other aspects. But what about you?
No, that makes total sense. And I think that is probably the best way to interpret that word, colonized, and that phrase. I guess when I was thinking of being colonized in the, because we were listening to that video by Vandana Shiva where she was talking about having a colonized mind. When you asked, how I'm colonized, I think I look back for myself to like generations and generations of like the indigeneity, like the like civilizing of imperial powers and just systems of power that seek to incorporate and subjugate populations like the Celts and like different earth connected, deeply human ways of being and of looking at the world. And so I guess the way that I see myself as being colonized is through that lens of how deeply I've been separated from that,
and that's interesting. Sorry.
And how much I've been recruited to the cause of colonialism, and
how much of that was not your choice.
Yeah. And I guess what I was saying when I thought that there are ways in which I am more colonized, my mind is more colonized, is certainly not in the sense of what you were saying, which is to be made to feel less than. But rather the ways in which colonization is able to recruit me. And because my identities allow me such proximity to power and such proximity to the heights of that hierarchy, that I'm an easy target. And it's a different kind of fight for me to decolonize my mind, because there's so many ways in which it's built to serve a part of me. And so it's a different kind of fight to fight the complacency, to fight the the status quo, and um, it's more possible for me to live relatively whole inside of that system
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
without being completely decimated and destroyed
Yeah.
as my sense of self.
I think the colonized mind part of me is the part that doesn't ask questions, that
Mm,
accept things
mm,
as they are,
mm,
um as the impotent part of, like, okay, I am powerless, therefore it's useless for me to even try to change things.
mm,
And it worked. I imagine how it was when people from the outside, from not in the Americas, came and then tried to impose. And then the fight, I imagine, but then the generations were happening, and then that there was a point that I was brought to this world, and then things, I accept things for the by default, that there are people who live in the fields and work in the fields, and there are last names that are not as pretty, not as influential, and I am part of this segregation of this part, and that's how the world works. Um, and that's sad, because then when I had the opportunity to start questioning, no, but why things should be like that, it was not long ago, I think.
mm,
Yeah, in my mid teenager years,
mm,
that I started to say, like, hey, that this doesn't sound right, this
mm,
should not be like that. And when I went to the States, it was more when I felt that, okay, I am not less than.
mm. What about moving to the States?
um
Was it just that
I
time in
guess
your
I
life,
guess
or was it
I guess
something else?
studying with people,
Mm,
and knowing that I can understand what they understanding,
mm,
that it's not that I am not able to,
mm.
like, to see my capacities or my skills
Yeah,
being at a level.
yeah,
It was that fought the ideas of, like, mm, there is a range, or
yeah.
like a scale of metrics.
Wow,
And sometimes I need to fight that thought too.
for sure. Yeah,
But
but
I sorry,
no, no, go ahead.
but I feel that colonialism goes beyond that range, or that whatever structure that is in my mind. So
Mm,
I think now the debate in my mind is like, how, what else is that I am not seeing,
mm,
that colonialism
mm,
is ingrained on me.
mm,
I'm sure that there are so many corners that I am ignoring now.
mm,
And sometimes they make comments
mm,
at you,
mm,
and then you cut most of those comments when I flatter your eyes,
mm,
or your beautiful skin,
mm,
and then it's like you cut me out and say, like, hey, but I don't know.
mm. Yeah, and I guess that's a tricky part too, because um, I I fear the harm that colonization and internalized colonization may and does do to you. And so there might be times when maybe I overinterpret that, or that
Mm,
it's coming from that place,
mm,
and I don't want to put that on you, or question your lens,
mm-hmm,
you know,
mm-hmm.
because I don't want to disempower you in your lens and your way of seeing and what you're seeing. Um, and it doesn't feel like my place to tell you what's coming from colonization and what's not. Um, but maybe there are times when, just as an outside viewer, I'm able to see um, that popping up.
Yeah.
But to go back to what you were saying before, it was really interesting to me that, like, and powerful that the moment that you kind of were breaking some of those internalized ways of seeing yourself and putting yourself in a down position or having been put in a down position, um, was when you actually got to test yourself against others, you know?
Yeah.
And it really points to that like myth of meritocracy, that like part of the harm of colonization is not just that it makes you think, or that not that it puts you in a position of being one down, of being below, but that it tells the lie that's right in some way, and that it's based on goodness and strength and power and like internal, like inherent power and merit. And it's really makes a lot of sense
Yeah.
that the moment that breaks that spell is when you actually get to test it. And
Mm.
I remember even what Obama talking about that too, right? Of being like, he's been to Harvard, he's been in these rooms, he's like, they're not smarter than you, like, there's just as
Yeah.
many fools there as
Mm.
anywhere.
Mhm. And I think one way of battle this colonized mind is because I think one part of colonialism, um, and that I will link with something that I saw the other day, saying that when people from outside the Americas came and they didn't find firearms or instruments to go to the battles
Mm-hmm.
as technical as they had in Europe and so on,
Mm-hmm.
um, they name these people as primitive because they didn't find this type of technology yet.
Mm-hmm.
And um, when you take out of the set the technology, the money, the power, and you compare people with people,
Yeah.
I think the only way that you can get to compare is the way that they think, the way that
Mm-hmm.
they uh, are in equilibrium with nature, the way that they understand their life, the stars, the
Yeah, the
like
way that they love, the way that
exact
they care for each other, the way that they
precisely.
create community and relationship and family.
And that is what the colonizers didn't equate when they came here.
Mm.
Like, I am here and I am superior because I have this and that, and the objects, the material objects, and the technology, as they call it, because in the Americas there was technology and structure and math, but if they didn't see the knowledge that cannot be touched.
Mm.
And I think when I went to the States and I compare that, like,
Mm.
1 to 1,
Mm.
I was like, okay, but I am not bad.
Mm.
I'm here with the knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
and then I can be, this suits me as
Mm.
much as it
Mm.
suits you,
Mm.
you know.
Yeah, and it's that journey of coming, not just the colonization that happened with and exists within the culture of South America and Ecuador, but the global sense of colonization with the U.S. at the heart and the peak of it,
Mm,
and that journey of coming to the heart of the empire to
mm,
realize that it's not all that, and
yeah.
that it's not this shining hill that's looking down on everything else that you're made to believe it is from your home in Ecuador. Looking
Mm-hmm.
at TV and all the ways that it colonizes and imperializes the world through culture and through money and, yeah, and power. And that's what it was making me think when you were talking before too, of the the value system that was used to justify and create this sense of hierarchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, where does this sense of superiority come from, besides delusion, besides um just a sickness of the soul. It's a value system that prioritizes basically the ability to inflict violence over anything else. It's not power in the sense of a sense of self, of a groundedness in who you are or in what your culture or your community is. It's only power in the sense of what's the capacity and power to enact violence that we've developed, and that's really the primary way in which these cultures were able to position themselves as superior.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
And the fact that they start with this, I am superior than you.
yeah,
And now that it's so imprinted that
yeah,
as you are born, that is a tacit idea.
yeah.